She was already yelling when I opened the door. Can't just ban people like that. This isn't your little kingdom. I didn't say anything, just stepped out onto the porch and crossed my arms. The lake behind me was calm. The kind of calm that makes noise feel louder. Karen stood at the edge of my cabin's deck in her usual salmon-colored blazer, holding a clipboard like it was some kind of weapon. Behind her, 3 of her guests stood around pretending they weren't. Shaking, probably still nursing hangovers from last night's unauthorized party on my private dock. "You don't own the water," she snapped, jabbing her finger toward the lake. "I own the land they crossed to get there," I said calmly, "and the dock they trashed. That gives me some say." She scoffed. "You're being dramatic. They were just enjoying nature. Nature doesn't clean up broken beer bottles or fish dead from spilled gas." That's when she made the call. Right there, in front of everyone. She pulled out her phone, stepped back like she was starring in some courtroom drama, and barked into the speaker. "Yes. I need officers at 1406 Pine Trail Drive. We have a man threatening residents. He's acting unstable." I blinked once. That line again. Unstable. She used the same word last year when I put a gate on my private trail. Same word when I stopped her from hosting a community brunch in my backyard without asking. But this time, she had no idea who she was messing with. Stepped back into the cabin, slowly. No panic, just quiet, because I knew something she didn't. The footage was already uploading. The real owner of this lakefront wasn't just me. It was me and someone else. And they were on their way. The squad car pulled up 10 minutes later, lights off, but the tires crunched loud on the gravel. Karen straightened like she'd just won a court case. Her guests perked up too, fake smiling like they hadn't just been caught trespassing and partying on private property. Finally, Karen huffed. "Let's see how long you last after this." The officer stepped out young. "Clean uniform, name tag," said Reynolds. He looked between us all before approaching her first. "Not me. Interesting. You made the call?" he asked. "Yes," Karen said, putting on her most polished HOA president voice. "This man," she pointed dramatically, "has been threatening people and refusing community access to the lake." I didn't move, just leaned against the porch rail, arms folded. Officer Reynolds tilted his head. "Ma'am, this is a private residence," Karen laughed. "That's what he says. But the HOA has shared use rights to all recreational areas. It's in the guidelines." I brought a copy. She shoved her clipboard forward like it was a legal document. He took. It glanced once, then looked up at me. "Sir, do you have proof of ownership?" I nodded, already reaching behind the door, pulled out a thick envelope and handed it over. "And survey deed, boundary lines." And I added ... footage from the trail cam. Shows exactly where they entered, what they were carrying. Reynolds took it, scanned fast. His brow lifted when he hit the page with the map overlay. Karen was already talking again. "He's just trying to intimidate us." "The lake belongs to the community." "No," Reynolds cut in. "It's dock, this land, and the 15 feet of shore behind it. It's all his." One of Karen's guests muttered. "Wait, seriously?" Uttered. Karen turned red. "And about the trail cam," Reynolds added, looking straight at her now. "Did you know there was one? Because it caught them cutting through a locked gate and tossing beer bottles into the lake." Silence. "I'd say that's trespassing. And vandalism," he said slowly. Karen tried to recover. "Well, that gate shouldn't even be there." That's when a second car pulled in. But it wasn't a cruiser. It was black. Tinted windows. Government plates. Karen noticed. Her voice caught. I didn't say a word because the man stepping out of that SUV wasn't just anyone. It was the other owner of this land. Karen had no idea what she'd just triggered. He didn't walk like a politician. Didn't smile either. Just stepped out in jeans, boots, and a navy blue polo. No flashy badges, just a calm face, a small scar on his chin, and a plain leather wallet in his hand. Karen's eyes locked on. At the moment, he flipped it open. "Special Agent Marcus Hale, Department of the Interior." Karen froze. Her mouth opened slightly, then closed again. He walked straight past her, up to Officer Reynolds, and gave a quiet nod. Reynolds handed him the folder I'd provided without saying a word. Karen found her voice. "Wade Interior. This isn't federal land." No, Hale said casually, flipping through the documents. But this property directly borders a protected waterway. And when people start pouring gas into the lake from jet skis while trespassing on a conservation partner's land, ... He looked up, ... That becomes my problem. She blinked. Conservation partner? He pointed toward me. Him. Now all three of her guests were shifting their feet like they suddenly needed to be anywhere else. Karen, though she was committed to the bit, she forced a stiff laugh. Okay, let's just calm down. This is obviously a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding, Holly said calmly. We reviewed the live cam feed before I got here. Saw the gate being climbed. Saw your guests hauling in coolers. Saw one of them tossing a lit cigarette into dry brush. Karen turned toward them, furious. You did what? One of the guys shrugged. Said it was fine? Hal stepped forward, not raising his voice, but his tone tightened. If that fire had caught, this entire ridge could have gone up. You know how many acres of federal forest are within a quarter-mile of this cabin? Karen's mouth was twitching. Now like she wanted to scream but couldn't find the right words. And you, he added, pointing at her guests, are leaving. Now you'll get citations in the mail. They didn't argue, not even a little. They just shuffled to their car like school kids caught stealing. But Karen ... Karen stayed frozen. Until Hale turned back to Reynolds and said the one sentence that hit her like a brick. She may have committed federal obstruction when she made that false emergency report. Karen's face went white. My phone buzzed. I glanced down. Live upload had finished. Footage was now backed up, in public. And it wasn't just the trespassing on video. It was something much bigger. Karen finally spoke, but her voice had changed. No more shouting. Just a shaky, forced smile. Okay. Maybe we all overreacted a little. I didn't know it was that serious. Kate and Hale didn't blink. Claimed he was threatening. Residents, that's a false report to law enforcement. And you did it while your guests were actively breaking the law. She glanced toward Officer Reynolds like he might jump in and save her. He didn't. Look, she stammered. This whole thing just got blown out of proportion. I didn't mean you meant to assert authority that doesn't exist, Hale said. That gate you told them to ignore. Installed legally. That dock, inspected, registered, and off-limits to non-owners. You knew that. You've been warned. Before, Karen looked like she was about to argue, but something behind Hale caught her attention. 2 more vehicles were pulling in. Local news vans, one with a drone already in the air. I didn't call them. Someone had clearly shared the footage. That public link had legs. She turned to me, her eyes wide, now angry but scared. Can't we just delete it? I stared back, calm. You tried to ruin my name. Again, you accused me of being unstable, of threatening people. You had 0 proof, and this time it's on tape. Please, she whispered. They're going to crucify me. Agent Hale stepped between us. You should be more concerned about what the HOA board's going to do after this hits. You impersonated their authority, and you crossed into federal business. Karen's hands dropped to her sides. Her clipboard, her favorite prop, slipped and hit the gravel with a soft clack. That's when her phone buzzed. She pulled it out slowly, face dropped even further. Is that the footage link? I asked, already knowing. She didn't answer. She didn't have to, because the thumbnail said it all. HOA president calls cops on lake owner gets exposed by federal agent, 2 million views in under an hour.